Hi everyone, welcome to Glorious Learning Hub. Today I will continue my presentation on infringement notice. I promise to continue by talking about what the prosecution has to prove if the matter goes to court or your possible defenses. So I will start with minor traffic matters. Minor in the sense that their punishment is reduced, but you can still end up in court even though they are minor. For instance, if you elect to go to court or if the police charge you. So the prosecution has to prove in terms of driving an unregistered car that you drove a car that was not registered with Vic Roads and that you didn't have a reasonable excuse for doing that. Then your possible defense might be that you had a reasonable excuse. For instance, you were running for an emergency, so you had to drive inevitably. Maybe you were carrying someone that was critically ill. That might be a reasonable excuse. So it's not an excuse to say that that vehicle was not yours or that you didn't know that it wasn't registered, because it is your duty to ensure that any car you want to drive is registered. You cannot also say that you didn't have enough money to pay registration. That's why you did not renew your registration. The police doesn't have to prove that you intended to or that you knew that what you were doing was against the law. So another offense is failure to wear a seatbelt. The police has to prove that you did not have a seatbelt while you were driving. Even if the car was stationary, maybe you are on a traffic light, it is still driving without a seatbelt. The police has to prove that you were not having a seatbelt while you were driving. So in the case of if you have someone in front of your car, if the person is up to 16 years and above, you have to make sure that the person is wearing a seatbelt. Otherwise, both of you will get a fine. If you're carrying a passenger that is less than 16 years, and the person wasn't wearing a seatbelt, you will be charged as a driver. You can also be charged for not having a proper car seat for a child, or if you did not put a child in a proper restraint. The child may have a seatbelt, but if you did not fix it properly, you might be charged as well. Your possible defense can be that you were sick and that's why you can't wear a seatbelt. But you have to show a medical report that explains your situation, which will also have an expiry date when that situation will elapse. Another offense is driving while using your mobile phone. The police has to prove that you were driving or sitting on a driver's seat. Even if your car is stationary, you can still be charged with driving while using your mobile phone or using your mobile phone while driving. So your car has to be properly parked in a legal parking. You know, like if you are standing on a traffic light, you can't say that your car was stationary. You can still be charged. So if you want to use your phone while driving, you have to pull over, park your car properly, turn off your engine. So what the prosecution has to prove is that you were using your phone while driving. Using your phone includes touching your phone. It doesn't matter if you were just turning it off, or even if your phone was switched off, you had it in your hands, it's still using. If you have it in your body, it is using. But if you have it in your pocket, it's not using. If you are using it as a web browser or as a GPS, it is using. Texting, receiving calls, plugging it on, they are all using. You can use your phone if you place your phone on a device meant for placing phone in a car. You cannot leave it on your dashboard. You have to put it in a device meant for placing mobile phones. In that way, you can use it, but you cannot touch it. Once you touch it, it is using. You can have your phone in your hand. Maybe you want to hand it over to someone sitting beside you. That is not using. If you are a P-plater or a learner, you cannot use your phone at all. So if you want to use your phone, make sure it is fixed on a device meant for putting your phone while driving. In that way, you can use it as a GPS or you can receive calls, but you cannot touch it. So what you have to prove if the police catch you or charge you with using your phone while driving is that you did not use your phone in any of these ways that I've mentioned, or that you were legally parked while using your phone. Another one is running a red light. The court always assume that traffic cameras are accurate. So the prosecution has to prove that you ran a red light or that you did not stop at a traffic light. This they will prove by giving you a copy of the photograph, or if they didn't give you the copy of the photograph, you can request for it from the traffic camera office. Sometimes the police will catch you at the spot, like they saw you run a red light. It's always easier for them if they are 2 police officers instead of 1. It's easier for them to prove. So your possible defense might be, if you were not the driver anyway, you nominate the driver. Your possible defense might be that the camera was not working or that it is not accurate. In that case, you will have to get an expert to come to court to prove that the detector was inaccurate or was not working accurately. So if the matter ends up in court, the magistrate has the power to do a lot of things. The magistrate can cancel your license or suspend your license depending on the nature of the offense. Then for all these offenses I've mentioned, VCROs will add demerit points to you if you commit any of these offenses, apart from driving unregistered car. And the magistrate cannot remove it. They have no powers to remove your demerit points. So in terms of driving an unregistered car, you can request that the matter be dealt with by way of diversion. Diversion is a way of dealing with your matter out of court, but the prosecution has to agree to that. So if your matter is dealt with by way of diversion, you will not get a conviction record. So try as much as possible to pay your fine. If you allow the matter to go to court, whatever happens in court appears on your criminal record. I will stop here for today, and I will continue with other possible defenses in regards to other traffic matters like drink driving, drug driving, and others. Thanks for listening and watching. Bye.